Hi, I'm Muggs McConnell, and this is Snippets of Yoga Philosophy. So in these last few sessions, we have been talking about the Natha Yogis, a wonderful group of yogis, Hatha Yogis. And we introduced this back in the snippet that I did talking about Jesus and the Natha Yogis. And so we're going to carry on with them now. And so in the previous ones, with this phrase from the Natha Yoga text, it says, I'll just read it directly. One who doesn't know the 9 chakras, 16 Adharas, 3 Lakshyas, and 5 vyomas is a yogi in name only. So when Hari and I studied this together, of course, we wanted to know what those were. He knew what they were, of course, because he studied with the Natha Yogis, but he wanted me to know what they were. And as mentioned before, we can have different terms for exactly the same thing. In the yoga pathways, there's different terminology. And so these may or may not be familiar to you already, but under a different name. So the previous lesson, or session on snippets, we talked about the 9 chakras, and then we also talked about the 16 Adharas. So today we're going to talk about the 3 Lakshyas, and hopefully my pronunciation is reasonably okay. So Lakshya is a goal or an object for meditation. And so we want to direct our attention to this area that is kept in sight. So we could also possibly call it a drishti. We use that term drishti to focus your eyes on or your attention on. And so when we direct our attention to a lakshya, then our consciousness, as it were, cognizes itself in correspondence to the object that we are focusing on. So there's the lakshyas are divided into 3 types. There is the antara or inner lakshya or area of focus. There is the bahir or outer lakshya, which is the external or outer focus, or madhya lakshya, which is kind of in between. Madhya means middle, so it can be in between or without any specific. It's not inner and it's not outer. It's a non-specific location. So let me just kind of clarify this a little bit for you, so you have some examples of how you would focus your mind on an object in these ways. So an antara object or internal object of itself is to direct your intention or your focus, area of concentration inwardly. So this could be like on a chakra inside. If you wanted to focus your intention on the heart center, for example, then that is an inner location. Or the inner sound, which is called nada. So there's a whole yoga of Natha Yoga. And so for the inner sound in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it speaks about listening for these inner sounds as you go deeper and deeper inwardly. And it describes what those sounds are, like a kettle drum or tinkling soft bells or a flute, etc. So we listen for those inner sounds as we go inward. Or various spaces within the head could also be like an inner focus. The focus of the third eye, focusing with Shambhavi Mudra on the third eye, going inward, is like an inner focus. So it's really within there. So that's what an inner focus would be. An outer lakshya would be something like a candle flame. So we would call that tratak in our Hatha Yoga pathway. So focusing on a candle flame or a mandala or an image, a different symbol of yoga, the Om symbol. These are outer focuses, which also concentrate your mind extremely effectively so that you go into a quiet, calm state. When you concentrate your mind or focus your mind in that way, it really slows down your thinking process and quietens the mind. Again, so we find peace, there's more space between the thought waves. We can hear the higher mind and sort of receive the higher wisdom that is available to us. But if our mind is so busy, we can't. So these focus points really help us to quieten the mind in that way. Okay, so then we have the Madhya Lakshya, which is the in-between or middle Lakshya. And these are, this is focusing your mind on things that are neither outer nor inner. They are, they're kind of both simultaneously. And so it might be color or a light, you know, a light in the third eye, or visualizing the color red or whatever. So something of a shape, like the shape of a triangle, something like that. And there's it's, you're not focusing on an outer object, and you're not focusing on a specific inner thing like the nada sound. It's or the chakra. It's something kind of in between, and that is the Madhya Lakshya. And so all of these are for the benefit of quietening and focusing the mind for the deeper aspects of yoga. And I hope that brings some clarification to you. And the next snippets of yoga philosophy will be on the 5 vyomas. And so we'll continue wrapping up this wonderful statement from the Natha Yogis, so we have a deeper understanding of that very important phrase to them. Again, I have a link in the front plate or in the description below for more information on the Natha Yogis and the 3 Lakshyas. So have a beautiful day. Thank you again for joining me. And I hope that you're enjoying this wisdom, learning about the Natha Yogis.